Great to see you. Thanks for joining. Tonight is the time where I get to tell you all the upfront advice and advance warnings about the new live stream that I am beginning every Thursday on this platform and also over on YouTube. And I'll be doing that on Thursdays at 7 p.m. and that's GMT or London time. And the whole idea of this is to bring together like-minded people who may be parents, carers, grandparents, maybe babysitters, childminders. You could be a tutor, a teacher, maybe a homeschooler. There are so many people that have some degree of responsibility, either the whole responsibility or some measured amount that you're paid to do or that you do voluntarily. And in your charge, you have children who are growing up in a world which is changing so fast that you hardly have your own bearings, never mind helping them to know how to think and how to respond to some of the situations that are out there. Confusing news, fake news, different interpretations of what is reality and what is virtual, what is augmented, whether somebody can actually become part robot, part human, transhumanism. We have so many things being thrown at us these days that we hardly know what is up and what is down, which is black and which is white. And I don't think I have all the answers, by no means, but I am a mum. I'm a parent of 2 adult children. And even they now in their late and mid 20s are probably far removed from the teenage generation already because so much has changed. COVID has been a marker and that's affected people's lives as a specific period, wherever they were in their lifespan, where that fell has affected them and affected all of us in different ways. But this forum, I'm calling it Make Fun of Faith. It's a place where I am unashamedly going to say that exploring a Christian worldview, having faith of that kind in this fast-changing world, some of the data, some of the research out there does show that people who have this as an anchor, who have prayer as a discipline, who know community, fellowship, belonging, all those sort of things that are often associated with working out a worldview of faith in a disciplined and in a consistent way, have far better outcomes psychologically, emotionally, and socially. And so I think we owe it to the children in our lives, whether they are just newborns now and we're thinking about what on earth this world will look like by the time they go to school, or whether they're now navigating teenage years and anywhere in between. There's so much wisdom that we need to help them and to guide them. So a little bit about me. Why do I come to this place and what on earth is gaming got to do with anything? Because that's the fundamental platform that I'm leading towards as a place where there can be safety and there can be exploration, there can be fun, and we as adults in our children's world are able to engage in something which they enjoy and which we probably need to understand better. And that could be a space that we can occupy together cross-generationally and be able to explore things that sometimes face-to-face we find difficult to talk about through the medium of play, through virtual reality, through gaming itself and the community that has often built up around gaming, and whether that's become a nerdy thing or whether that's just something that our children dip into just occasionally at the weekends, there is something in that. Do you know we have 3.9 billion gamers in the world? Even less Christians. What does that say about the scope of that environment and that interest for digital discipleship? And these are the things that I'm beginning to explore with you. And this forum is for all of us who feel we have questions, who need answers, who need peer support, who may be navigating some very difficult conversations from anything from how to negotiate the level of screen time your kids have in your home, to whether or not you can be sure they're not being groomed online. And it's as serious as that. So let's just think about why I come to be here and what I feel you will gain and what I hope you will bring as well. So I am an author. I'm a digital discipler and a game script writer. So I want to just show you the latest book of mine, which is called Trunked, The Hero Within. And it's been written for children up to and around 16 years old. Certainly looking to a second and third version, which will be for 6 to 8 year olds and 2 to 5 year olds, so that we have a game based vision on this book script, and the characters within it will be the characters within the game. And all of us, whether we're 2 up to adulthood, have perhaps in our family a copy of this, whatever version of reading age your children may be, and we have cross-generational conversations, familiarity with all the characters, and eventually we can buy into the game and play and understand the pathways they take on the journey within this magical, adventurous woodland. The redwood forest, as I call it, which is really dominated by the great giant redwood tree called Zulon. And in this book, in this story, which is available to buy or download on Kindle, you will come to realize that we all need a guide, and we need to learn to grow into understanding interdependence, working with each other, working in teams, solving problems, and really bringing solutions. And within the adventure of escalating through this tree from one level to the next, the characters within follow their guide, Trey, who is their Sherpa, who takes them through the tree and helps them to make decisions and character choices, and helps them to work out right from wrong, helps them to grow through mistakes, helps them to learn how to lean on one another and also lead the way. It's an adventure story. It's gone down well with my readers. The ones who've tested it are loving it and enjoying it. And I really do see that as something that could become a talking point and maybe one day an absolute bestseller game product. So, we are at the early stage of this, but I wanted to bring together a community of people who understand the problem that's facing our children. And so digital discipleship is about occupying a space that may be safe, that's online, that can be a conversation that takes place between those of us who are role models, who are the responsible adults in our children's lives. And I want to see a way of equipping you as those people to help one another, but also to come together every week to bring perhaps your challenges, the specific examples and case studies of conversations you've had at home that week. I bring you an example, a silly example, but going back years to when the Sims game was out, when my children were preteens. I remember them building one of the houses inside the game, which asked you to create the rooms within the house exactly as you wanted, with all the different finishes and all the different objects and furniture. It was a great game. My son's actually become an architect, who knows whether that had any influence. But one of the things that shocked me was that these families that occupied the houses that the children built within the game, the parents of the families within the house used to nip upstairs and have a little bit of fun in the bedroom under the covers, and suddenly you would see the stars flying and the sparks flying, and I'd think to myself, are my children ready for this? I didn't realize I was exposing them to that particular thing when it was a game about building a house. And I think that seems so tame now. There's so much more out there that we cannot be responsible for or see around every corner inside the metaverse or the internet. So how do we help one another to navigate that? So my vision is really to help make fun of faith by equipping parents to have great security about the environment their children inhabit, and are much more confident about digitally than they are, and often could run circles around them in terms of getting through security barriers and hiding their, covering their tracks of where they've been. We need help. We need each other. And so I want to help to bring that clarity, that greater security within the digital habitat that our children occupy, and really bring some perhaps some experts, some speakers, resources that are out there, platforms where you can direct your children to safe gaming and safe conversations, where gaming can be enjoyed in a way that's nurturing, that's wholesome. It doesn't teach your children how to kill as many people as they possibly can in half an hour and that kind of thing. So this is really about supporting all of us in being great parents of digital natives. And so you would equip them to be ready, to be effective in their future adulthood, because they're going to be working in a world which requires digital skills and high levels of digital intelligence. And we can't protect them from that. It's an absolute must that they are able to be digitally literate and imaginative and creative in their future lives. But we also can't afford to throw away responsibility for their spiritual formation and character development. And there is an absolute lack of awareness, understanding, and discipline in reading the word, the Bible, as we call it, as a guide to life, for habits, for values, for formation of personality, character, and good choices. And none of that is appealing to simply people who are not used to reading, who are not necessarily natural readers. There are readers. I know a few people in their 20s who are avid readers, but the majority, we have to be on the wavelength which is more visual, more engaging, more actively immersive. So our children need us to be able to help them to thrive in that environment, not to be afraid of it, although there are things out there within it which are highly concerning and very disturbing. We need to be absolutely wise as serpents, but innocent as doves, and give our children the skills they need to flourish, and to thrive in this digital space. So Make Fun of Faith is the live stream every Thursday, 7 p.m. I'm looking forward to seeing people join and numbers grow. I encourage you to introduce yourself in the thread, in the conversation below, and let us know where you're coming from. Let us know who you are, what your questions are, what your solutions have been. Have you found ways around rationing screen time? Have you found ways around rewarding? Do you use the internet as a reward, or do you is it some sort of dirty secret within the household where everybody disappears quietly and engages in that on their own? I mean, there are principles that we need to work out which are working best for the healthiest families that have these conversations openly, healthily, and are able to talk about it as openly as perhaps we used to wish we could openly talk about sex and about boyfriends, girlfriends, and all the stuff that we would really feel a little bit squeamish about as parents. Now there's far more wide-ranging, challenging conversations to be had. And I just really want us to be able to support one another in having those conversations. There's much more I want to say, but just tune in on a Thursday and we'll get to know one another. I'll bring in guests. We'll sometimes do Zoom. We'll have collaborative conversations as well. And as soon as I get the hang of being able to look at live feeds and speak at the same time, if I ever manage that, fine. But we will certainly have fun. And we want faith to be fun. We're not poking fun at faith, but we are making it fun. I'll see you again on here in a week. See you then.